Welcome to Monday, December 12th, 2022. Your day weather podcast is being brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com or on their Facebook page. Also being brought to you by WYDOT. With this winter storm approaching, call 511 or go to wildroad.info for the latest road and travel conditions. When there's ice and snow, take it slow. The storm is on track, folks. There's no turning back. This is going to be a dangerous winter storm. High travel and livestock impacts. These are the two things. The livestock impacts and the travel impacts are the two big things. This is going to be a storm that brings a lot of snow, but it's really the combination of the snow, the high winds, and the bitter cold wind chills and drifting that'll bring the biggest impacts. A lot of times, December storms don't have a lot of water to work with. You don't get the huge amounts of snow you can in the spring. But even just a few inches of snow with bitter cold temperatures and wind chills and drifting is going to cause lots and lots of problems. This is going to be a prolonged event. It really ramps up overnight tonight in most areas east of the divide, and it continues through late Wednesday. And we're going to see a huge swath of the nation impacted by the storm. From the west coast through the northern plains, over the 5-day period of the storm's impacting, it will be a very large area. So travel over a very large area of the Intermountain West and the Western High Plains will be impacted. Now, there will be some downsloping winds that will spare some areas of the heaviest snow. Downsloping means the winds coming downhill off the mountains. And what you'll see pockets where there won't be as much snow. Downsloping areas, upsloping areas, you will see the heavier amounts of snow. It does look like the immediate Colorado Front Range will be downsloped, and that will impact that downslope in other areas. So the snowfall is not going to fall evenly, is the point here, and there will be some areas that will get more, some areas less. The east-west ridges, like the Pine Ridges and the other east-west ridges, the north side of the Cheyenne Ridge, parts of northeastern areas of Colorado. Those areas are going to see the higher impacts with the heaviest snow and wind. And then I tell you folks, the air behind the storm is cold. Very, very cold air is going to come in, and it's going to be with us deep into next week, if not all of next week. So after this storm, the snow that falls is not going anywhere anytime soon. Here are all of the advisories, winter storm warnings, advisories, and blizzard warnings. The red shading indicates blizzard warnings from the South Platte areas of Colorado, the South Platte Valley, through Nebraska, South Dakota, into eastern areas of Wyoming. Notice the high elevations of Interstate 80 between Laramie and Cheyenne and Laramie and Rawlins are under blizzard warnings. The pink are winter storm warnings. The blue areas are winter weather advisories. And then we have advisories for strong winds and areas of fog out ahead of this storm right here. This storm system is huge. If you look at the scope of it, over the next 48 hours, next 72 hours or so, this is covering a lot of territory. Focusing in on Wyoming, the red, again, the blizzard warnings, the pink are the winter storm warnings. We think the winter storm conditions are going to go back and maybe we'll cover all of Sweetwater County as well. So don't be fooled. Even though these areas here and areas here are under no advisories at the moment, that doesn't mean the winter storm won't impact you. It will. But you can see where the red is. That is where the conditions are going to be the worst, the red and the pink areas. The storm, as of early this morning, moving into areas just west of Salt Lake City there, and then by tomorrow morning. If you've been watching these videos, you know that the low has been forecasted to be essentially in that same place for days. The computer modeling seems to be handling the storm very well. And the storm, once it jumps over the Continental Divide, does intensify and becomes a better and deep storm. So by Tuesday morning, it's there. By Wednesday morning, it's over north central Nebraska, and it's just pumping in very high winds, strong and very cold northwest winds into the area. So this is where we're going to really see the snow get started, east of the mountains, tonight and into Tuesday morning. So a lot of snow will be falling between this time frame and this time frame, and then the wind really starts to kick up and the cold air pours in behind it. And then by Friday morning, it's moving up into Wisconsin. But look at the jet stream flow. It's coming right out of the northwest. And that blue arrow represents just Arctic air pouring in onto the backside. This is Friday. So we're talking from really tonight all the way into Friday, this storm pumping in cold air and occasional periods of snow. And there you can see the cold air. This is by around noontime tomorrow. This swath of cold just gets driven on in. At the same time, the heavier snow is going to be falling. This is through 5 p.m. Thursday. Notice there's a slot here where the Colorado Front Range from about Fort Collins to Colorado Springs is going to get downsloped. The downsloping winds will erase any significant snow there. Notice though, northeastern Colorado plains, you're going to be under a situation where wraparound snow and wind will be causing near blizzard or blizzard conditions there. Notice the Cheyenne area is right on the fringes of the downslope. So the Cheyenne to Denver, Fort Collins area, going to get downsloped a bit, but I think the Cheyenne area and points north, especially the north side of Cheyenne, the northern areas of the Cheyenne Ridge and points north, this is where the action is in terms of the heaviest snow. And see how it also gets back into Sweetwater County and the northwestern central mountains of the U.S., of Colorado and southern mountains of Wyoming. This I-80 corridor here is just going to be a mess. I-25, you can see Interstate 90. So all of the major roads and highways in the region. And then you can see this area of very intense, heavier snowfall right here in South Dakota. The Pine Ridge, this is the Pine Ridge area of Nebraska, really the higher terrain from Lander through the Casper area, through the Douglas area, through the Lusk area, through Chadron and Alliance and points north. That is an area that's really going to catch the snow. The northern Bighorns as well, the I-90 corridor, northeastern Wyoming. Look at the north side of the Black Hills. This is where the north side of the Black Hills can get a ton of snow. This is another one of those downsloping holes. So on the south side of the Black Hills, the downsloping winds will cause lesser amounts of snow in this area here, but it's still going to snow. So even in the downslope areas, there's still going to be snowfall. Northwest winds into the Laramie Valley will tend to produce enhanced snowfall as well. And there you can see it. And then you can really see an axis of heavier snowfall. As I tell you when I show you these charts, take these numbers you see here with a grain of salt. They usually always over forecast it, but you can see where the heavier snow is going to be falling through Friday morning with this storm. And there's the wind, the blowing and drifting of the snow, and the bitter cold wind chills. These are the wind chill values by about noon tomorrow. So during the course of the day Tuesday, sub-zero or near zero wind chills are going to be where the heavier snow and the wind has been falling. And then if you look over the next 10 days, look at the swath of snow across the United States. Very impressive and getting further south. As the storm lifts up into the Great Lakes and then heads into the New England area, this is going to affect the entire country before it's all said and done. And look at the cold. This is by next Monday. Severe cold moves in, and by next Wednesday, just about the entire United States and a good huge swath of Canada is much colder than average. So when you're really far below normal for temperatures in December, you're starting to talk about severe cold. Now, whether or not this happens or not, we'll see, but these are the forecasted low temperatures by next Tuesday. Now, keep in mind, if we get a lot of snow on the ground in many areas and it stays cold, this just makes it very easy for these Arctic air masses to come on in. So this is why we're concerned for livestock interest. First of all, we've got this winter storm, which at times is going to be behaving like a blizzard. And really, it is going to be a blizzard situation for some of you. And then the cold stays. It is a persistent cold that's going to be with us here for probably a week to 10 days. And maybe very cold air could still leak in during Christmas week as well. So this is a serious situation with the cold and winter storm conditions. Travel is not recommended once we get past late today, tonight, and tomorrow in those areas I showed you earlier where the storm will have the biggest impacts. Good luck. We'll update you tomorrow. We'll see you on Tuesday.